Welcome back to Real Talk on SABC 3. The stage is yours. 2018 marks the beginning of the 60th year since His Holiness the Dalai Lama stepped on the sacred land of India. Tibet and India have a lot in common, as displayed through their geography, their history, the culture, and spirituality. The bond between the two is so close that His Holiness the Dalai Lama calls India the Guru and Tibet his Chela, while he calls himself the Son of India. To shed some light on the 60th anniversary celebrations is representative of the Office of Tibet in South Africa, Mr. Ngodup Dorjee. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Okay. I want to understand, why is it so important for us to celebrate the 60th anniversary?
Because the 2018 marks the 68 years of Tibetans coming into exile. And it all started actually in 1959 when His Holiness Dalai Lama and with him about 100,000 Tibetans have to leave Tibet because Tibet was occupied by China, and then they have to leave out of country and come to India. And it was very kind of India to give a refuge to these homeless and very desperate people coming out of Tibet. So now it has been almost 60 years. And we want to actually thank all the people and all the government and supporters and people who love peace and justice, that after 60 years, we have been not really gone down into the history as a anonymous, dissolved into a mass of crowd, but he have been able to stand upright and really contribute to the world, you know, in terms of knowledge generation, in terms of peace, in terms of dialogue, and also keeping our own culture, language, identity outside Tibet in a very vibrant way.
Okay, I'm so glad you said that, because for me, when I was sitting with the team and we're discussing this, I was thinking, it's so strange that you want to celebrate 60 years of being oppressed and told to leave, you know, your home soil. But when you put it like that, the fact that, you know, you could exist with your culture and your beliefs outside is why you want to celebrate it. And you want to thank people for not diluting you and just shoving you in the countries that you took refuge in and then get forgotten.
Yes. Yes, yes. We have been able to really, along with keeping our own culture and system and value and unique culture vibrant, at the same time we have been able to keep our movement for Tibetan freedom alive. And this has helped actually the Tibetan spirit in Tibet very strong. Despite the various policies that Chinese have used over the last 60 years, hot and cold, trying to really destroy the spirit of the Tibet, but they have failed. And the Tibetan spirits are very strong in Tibet as well as in outside, you know. So there is a vibrant and very strong Tibetan movement outside, and we are ready to continue it for the next another 60 years. That's
Classy, you know, when we look at Buddhism, is there a place for anger in it? Can you get angry? Is that allowed, or is that breaking the rules?
Absolutely. We're all human. Even the Dalai Lama says he gets angry. The trick is he doesn't hang on to it. There's a saying, you can entertain thoughts, but don't invite them for tea. So he doesn't invite anger for tea. He just gets angry and he lets it go. You know, but he's obviously much better than us in it. But no, you have emotions. The thing is controlling it and realizing the damage that anger can do. And the more you practice, the more you will let it go. I just want to add to something that Ngodup said. You know, if you go to this exile community, they're based in Dharamsala, which is a tiny little village in the hilltop, in the Himalayan hill, at the southern end of the Himalayas. They've built schools, they've built hospitals, they've built medical institutes. They are so industrious in what they've done. They are a fully functioning community. They have a Tibetan Institute of Performing Arts, for instance. They have women rights movements. They have a fully functioning government with 7 different departments. They are a model of how to tackle a challenge like a free country peacefully.
Sorry to cut you off there. You know, the impression we get of Buddhism and Buddhist monks, and obviously His Holiness the Dalai Lama is very simple, right? Not much is needed. So I don't see TVs and DVD players and the internet around. Yet he tweets. How do you merge the technology with the practice?
I think this Dalai Lama, I think is very clever. He's right for the time.
Is he on Instagram?
They've got Twitter. They've got mobile phones. They walk around with phones. They are 21st century monks.
Yeah.
So the technology is not the problem. The problem is how you use it and how you engage with it. So
okay.
no. And he's making, you know, he's got a saying that when you look at Buddhism, you need to look at Buddhist religion, which he says leave it for the Buddhists. Then there's Buddhist philosophy. The philosophy of Buddhist way of life is accessible to anybody, irrespective of your religion. Then there's Buddhist science. Every year they have a Mind and Life conference where they integrate the philosophical studies of the Buddhists with Western-style scientists to try and prove the benefits of mindfulness and how this can help cultivate a better life.
So I suppose none of the cell phones are made in China then.
They're not crossed with the Chinese. They cross with the Chinese government.
Okay.
So
had to sneak that one in there. Mr. Dorjee, just in closing, and thank you so much for your time. This is such an honor for me.
Thank you so much.
You know, with compassion and empathy and patience, all of the things that His Holiness the Dalai Lama preaches, which one do you say stands out the most as we celebrate the 60th anniversary of the hospitality that they've enjoyed around the world?
I think a sense of compassion, I think, what I would say, because Buddhist religion, actually, the basic philosophy is really the compassion, is the kind-heartedness, he says all the time. Is the actually, is the basic of the Buddhism. And His Holiness has been traveling all over the world, you know, trying to solve that. The whole problem today we see in the world can be solved if we practice warm-heartedness and compassion. And now he says that today's modern education, we are teaching children about the material livelihood, how to really earn a livelihood. But we are not able to teach them the emotional health. And this is only possible through the teaching these children at a very young age the compassion, kind-heartedness. Because we have lost this. When we are a child, we always have to have the compassion of the mothers and parents to really to grow up, you know, and emotionally and physically grow up as a child. You need the love and caring of the mother. But when we are grown up, actually we lost that touch. And therefore, I think His Holiness' contribution, and he's traveling all over the world in the last 40 years, I think, and his interaction with the neurologists, I think he has found that I think we should now, there is need for the world to really embrace the warm-heartedness and compassion to leave a really legacy of peaceful world and world of dialogue in the next 21st century.
Mr. Dorjee, thank you so much for your time. Classy.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time as well. I always like it when a new episode is born in a present one, because this is a discussion that we need to have. How do we teach our kids compassion? We're raising them, you know, they're growing up in front of our eyes, but how do you know that you're instilling compassion within your child? It's definitely a discussion that needs to be explored more. Once again, thank you so much to my guests, Classy Vessels and Ngodup Dorjee.